Hey everyone, welcome back to the Recovery Channel. It's an honor to be with you. So, as I was writing the content a couple of weeks back, I was thinking, man, this material is a total downer. All we ever seem to talk about is why this is so hard, how our childhoods were totally jacked up, how we better follow the program or we're screwed. Get the jab or you're gonna kill babies. No, wait, that last one is a government channel. Yeah, I did. Anyway, this week I want to provide a little balance and talk about something cheerful for a change. Talk about a positive aspect of the program, of which there are many. The AA book says, "We aren't a glum lot. If newcomers could see no joy or fun in our existence, they wouldn't want it. We absolutely insist on enjoying life." Now, we got to keep it real, and I'm going to be sharing some stories today that are brutally real. But the whole point of recovery is to make our lives better, to make life enjoyable. While the process can be pretty painful at times, through recovery, your life will get better. In fact, as Chris likes to say, your life will be amazing. I don't do it as good as him. Anyway, step 2 is called the hope step. Why? Because it's the point where we realize we are not alone. We don't have to keep banging our heads against the wall in isolation. We have our higher power and the support of others to help us. In this step, we take the first step towards surrendering our will to our higher power. We figure out that we've kind of made a mess at things, but there is hope because we are not alone. We have help. Personally, I got to the point where I was going through my second divorce. I lost my job and my 21-year-old daughter told me she wanted nothing to do with me. I was facing criminal charges, wasn't allowed to see my son, and had to pony up $20,000 in legal fees. After going through all that, a few years later, after marrying my third wife, I was given an ultimatum to go to rehab or be divorced for the third time. So I went to Pennsylvania for a 42-day rehab program. Part of that program was to go to a 12-step meeting every night. In one of those meetings, a young guy gave a testimony where he told of opening his closet door and finding his mother, who had hung herself. On the ride back to the facility on the short bus, the other guys in my group started joking about the young man that had given his testimony and laughing about it. About the guy that just shared about finding his mother in his closet hanging from a guitar strap. As I leaned my head against the window, watching the raindrops slide down the glass against the gray sky, I thought to myself, I'll never, never let my life get to a point where I am this miserable. I thought I had hit bottom a few years before, but this was a new low for me. "Man, I thought you said this wasn't going to be so glum. So far, this is about as cheerful as an albino hitchhiking in a snowstorm." Well, my point in all this is that I never lost hope. I knew my life would get better. It had to. I knew that God had my back and He would see me through. My stint in rehab was painful, but necessary. The many low points in my journey were not pleasant, but every one of them was a learning experience because I chose to learn from them and hold on to the hope that recovery promises. Sometimes hope is all we have. But through recovery, life does get better. Mine certainly has. We have another 44 weeks together, so I'll share more about that later. I do want to share a couple more stories, though. There was a lady in Overeaters Anonymous that shared that one night, as she was walking down an alley on her way home from work, she noticed a restaurant employee throwing a cake box into a dumpster. Something told her to go look into that box, so she did. She found an almost entire chocolate cake with just a bit missing. She took the cake out and removed the part that had been touched, then proceeded to eat the entire thing right there in the alley. When she finished, she had a sort of out-of-body experience where she saw herself and what she had just done. It made her throw up all over her dress. She walked the rest of the way home in utter shame, and once at home, she got into the shower. In that moment, feeling the lowest she had ever felt, she asked God to please just put her out of her misery and take her life. But that experience, that moment of sinking so low that life just didn't seem worth it, it began a journey of healing for that woman. She had hope. Now she helps others with eating disorders. Ashley, a drug user that engaged in self-harm, attempted suicide by overdose at 17 years old. She was dead for 17 minutes, but doctors were able to revive her. When she came to, she was blind. She had hit bottom, but continued to drag along it for a while and still engaged in self-harm. Then one day, she decided she had just had enough. She found hope. She enrolled in a school for the blind, and long story short, she is now doing everything she can to help and inspire others. Her dream is to be a motivational speaker. There are thousands of these stories. I'm guessing you might have one of your own. But does one only find hope after hitting bottom? Do you have to reach some form of a low point to finally get help? For some people, maybe. But that's not always the case. It is absolutely possible to see the potential for hitting bottom and decide that you don't want to go there. Or to just decide that at this point, I'm pretty well low enough, thank you very much. It's time to get help. Whatever your situation, I truly believe that if you hold on to hope, trust in the process, trust in your higher power, and stay committed to recovery, you never have to sink any lower. So hold on to that hope. Sometimes it's all we have, and I promise you things will get better. Okay, I was so determined to make this session upbeat and positive throughout, but you know what? That's just not life, and it's certainly not recovery. I'd love to sit here and tell you that from here on it's all rainbows and unicorns, and when it rains it'll be Skittles falling from the sky. But the truth is, life has its ups and downs, and as we've learned, we really don't have much control over that. But what we do have control over is how we respond to life. When we have hope, and we know our higher power is with us, and we know we have people around us that love us and support us, that makes those ups and downs a lot easier to navigate. That, my friends, is what recovery is all about. I hope you can take that in. We have 3 homework items for you this week. The first is related to hope, and that is a gratitude list. Too often in life, we focus on all the negative things going on. A gratitude list helps us to shift that and recognize the good stuff. Your homework is to list at least 10 things that you are grateful for. I'll even give you the first one as my gift to you. Are you ready? Number 1, I have hope. I have hope. The rest are up to you. They don't have to be big things. One of mine is that I'm grateful that I woke up this morning. That one isn't free. If you use that one, you have to come up with at least 11. The second homework item is to work the workbook. We talked about picking one up a few weeks back. Make sure you're working in that book at least 2 or 3 times a week. If you don't have one yet, get one. See the links in the comments. Finally, find a sponsor if you haven't done so already. We haven't really talked about that until now because most sponsors want to see that you've been in the program for a couple of months and that you're serious about it. Find someone that fits your style and exemplifies what you want for your life. You can find a sponsor at meetings, even the online ones. If you're having trouble, shoot us an email at recoveryispossibletoday@gmail.com and we'll see what we can do to help. All right, folks, that's it for this week. Next week, we start step 3, and Chris will talk about making the decision. Until then, do your homework, trust in the process, and know that there is always hope. See you next week.